So, next thing here, we're going to go into something that, slightly controversial, Kappa. 3-port, guys. Has anybody ever heard of a 3-port build? So, I've been doing 3-port TVZ for months, and or Sky Terran, as most people call it. Sky Terran is actually a very viable way to play TVZ. So I figured I would showcase this style on the first episode of the Evolution Chamber, because a lot of people like playing. A lot of people might not want to just play bio every single game, and this is a really fun. It's not only fun, but it's actually effective. And if you want to, you can transition into bio. You can transition into mech. You can keep making air units. It's what I'm about to show you guys was used in Nation Wars by Marine Lord or whatnot. I forget his name, but most of the people that are going 3-port in this manner, it's a derivative of this style that I've been doing for months now. So I feel like it's a really good style to showcase, and just the theory of this, like why play Sky Terran over bio? Why play Sky Terran over mech? The main reason why I started doing this and developed this style is mostly to deal with ravagers, because ravagers are incredibly tough in the current metagame to deal with. Most games, if you play against Roach Ravager, you're gonna have trouble if you just go bio, or if you try and play. If you're one of the people that still plays mech, you're gonna have a lot of trouble with it. So yeah, why not play Sky Terran? So let me go ahead and get in the first replay here. Let me show you guys the fundamentals of this build. I actually have a couple games here that are really solid Sky Terran games that I feel like you guys will enjoy and learn a lot from. The main things to keep in mind when you play, when you're playing this style, mech late game is sort of sucky because of Vipers. Bio late game, everybody right now, the current metagame, guys, everybody's having trouble with 8 armor ultras. Everybody's having trouble dealing with Ravagers. And whether or not those things are broken, whether or not those things are imbalanced or not, this style can actually beat those things if you play it really well. If you play it extremely well. Extremely well. So, starting off this game, there's 2 ways you can do this style. The first way is the more economic opener, where you go for the 1 gas in the command center. This game I opted to open with a quick barrack, the depot, quick gas, into barracks, into my second gas geyser. What this lets you do is it lets you get out liberators a little bit quicker, lets you get out banshees quicker, it lets you get out your hellions quicker. So you'll die when you do it this way. When you do it the more gas-centric way, you'll die to less things, but you'll also have a weaker economy. So if you don't do some damage or force some reaction from the Zerg, you'll be a little bit weaker when you do it this way, rather than getting the command center at your expansion first. But this way offers a ton of safety, which is great for playing on ladder. If you guys want to just play builds where you don't die and you get into the game, this build is amazing for that. So I'm going to get a reactor to my factory. I'm getting a second reactor for the starport that is building at the moment. And essentially this is a reactor hellion reactor liberator build. If we take a look at what the Zerg is doing, I poked at him with my first Reaper. You always build a 1 Reaper at the start to scout the Zerg, see what they're up to at their base. Got double liberator production going on. Command center started at my natural. And so far, everything looks pretty normal. This is a build that a lot of Terrans have done. It's not only, you know, reactor, liberator, reactor, reaper, or reactor factory is nothing new for Legacy of the Void. People have been doing this for months. I've done it. Other streamers have done it. Other pros have done it. This is not new. Also, something to take note of. The very first 2 liberators you make a conscious decision with these liberators. Do you want to send these liberators straight to the opponent's base to try and harass his mineral line and force him to make spores as he's done? Or do you want to play more defensive And you can send both liberators around the right side of your base, and send one around the left side of your base to kill overlords, to deny vision. You can do either one. This game I opted to actually send them across the map to try and do some damage. I will say it is actually risky to send them across. If your opponent happens to be opening with the Nidus Worm, you're sort of screwed if you do this. You sort of need the liberators on top of the Nidus Worm if they go for a Nidus. But I think I got a good enough Reaper scout this game to see that he didn't have a fast lair and he was going for the third hatch. So I felt pretty safe to send my first two across the map. But that's actually like a really big decision in the game at the start of every game that you play this style. So just trying to harass his mineral line here a little bit with liberators. You can see an Evo chamber here. Couple drones are going to die. It's not a big deal if you don't kill drones with it. Just make sure you do not lose these liberators. It is important. If you lose these, you could lose the game. Do not lose these. If you kill drones, it's great, but do not risk lose. This is 300 Vespian gas that you're essentially harassing him with. Keep them alive. You don't want to lose those. So from this point in the build, we have a reactor factory of a reactor starport. There's two directions we can go from here. We can build a third command center right now, or we can throw down two starports and an armory. Pretty much on this map in particular, you almost always want to throw down your third command center first. But if you want, once again, if you want to play like the ultra safe way, you can get your two starports before then. I actually forget what I did this game. I got the command center and then I built. You see the second starport and the third starport is going down. So this is triple starport reactor factory. Once again, there are some other players that have done builds similar to this or copied other players that maybe have got it from me. You never know. You never know. But the point is, it's a good build, and it's actually part of a standard metagame that you can play. If we bring up the production tab, I'm getting cloak right now, and once again, this is sort of metagaming. What I'm doing is sort of metagaming the Zerg. It's metagaming the mass Ravager stuff that everybody's doing right now. Everybody loves massing Ravagers and Roaches because it's really effective and easy to do. So triple starport makes so much sense against. That's the theory behind this. Like if this were hard to swarm, you might die if you did this because your opponent would just go 2-base muta or whatever. But the way the current meta is, most players aren't going to go 2-base muta, and even if they did, you have liberators. You can deal with 2-base muta, and if you have 3 starports, you can really deal with 2-base muta. So it doesn't. Either way is fine. I did spread out 4 liberators on the map to search for overlords, and I managed to catch another one, which is fine. But once again, you don't want to lose these. So after I kill that overlord, you should send those back to your base. I think I do in a moment here. Hellions to deal with Lings, Banshees to deal with Ravagers. Second factory coming up here. And I have double armory researching air upgrades. That's the other key point of this build. You don't research ground upgrades, research air upgrades. Very, very important to do that. Got a little scout there on him, and I actually open up with a 4th base. Another neat little trick, another nice thing with this style of play is, liberators are sort of like siege tanks in that you can defend a lot of stuff with them, and if you have turrets underneath them, you can defend almost anything with these. If you position them well. The only weakness to this style is if your opponent starts making a boatload of corruptors. If they make a bajillion corruptors, they can fly into this and kill you with roaches. But if you have turrets underneath, if you literally build like a turret farm underneath your liberators, you're not going to die to corruptors. You're going to be fine. So once again, these Banshees, he's just building Ravagers. He doesn't have any answer to deal with this. I try and harass him a bit, kill some drones. The important thing is that you do not lose Liberators. You can lose Banshees and Hellions. You can lose those units here and there. Try to not lose Liberators if you can help it. Like, you don't want to lose that one, and I did anyways. So what do we have here, guys? What do we have in the production tab? 2 Banshees, Liberators. Now the final little piece of the puzzle here to this style of play is the Banshee speed upgrade. I'm actually researching Banshee speed, and what does that let you do as a Terran? Normally, mech has so much trouble, mech or Sky Terran, you have a lot of trouble actually killing distant bases on the map, but with the Banshee speed and Legacy of the Void, you can actually, you can harass distant bases and kill distant bases. I did trade away some liberators there. I traded them for his Roach Ravager and for his hatchery. Now once again, if I didn't have these turrets, these corruptors would kill every liberator. These liberators would be dead. The way this defense works is you have the liberators protecting the turrets, you have the turrets protecting the liberators, and you have the banshees and the tanks protecting those. So everything is, each thing is protecting the other things, and he actually flies away. And he does have a ton of Roach Ravager, and, like, my army looks tiny as hell right now. Like, this is so tiny in comparison. He's even ahead in supply by 30 supply. But he can't just walk through here. Like, he can't just walk in there. That's the beauty of the Liberator. So let's speed this up. The final part of this style, guys, the end game unit comp that you want to go for when you play this. You're going for Liberators. Banshees to harass distant bases. Thors, you eventually start making Thors to deal with Ultralisks. And what you end up with is you end up with this like mass Liberator, mass Thor, mass Ghost army. And the Ghosts are the last little thing that you add on to deal with Vipers. Ghosts are really good specifically against Vipers. They're not too good against most other things. But if your opponent is smart, he's going to go for Vipers regardless of what you do, so you need the Ghost. And that is what he's doing here. He's starting to get out Vipers. I managed to siege up in the center of the map here. And if you can do this, any map that you can do this on where you can split the map in half, essentially, you want to do that. You want to try and split the map in half, siege up, and so that you can take your bases more easily, and so you have a point of attack. So if you can manage to take the center, definitely take it. This game, I managed to just sort of like walk up here and take it for free. I may have even been able to take this one step further and go on his half of the map and maybe kill this base. But the one thing you want to remember is your army, all these units are essentially gas units. His army is effective, but it's mostly like mineral units, really cheap mineral units. I guess the Ravagers are expensive and the Hydras are. But you don't want to expose your army on the map to kill a single hatchery. This is a mistake I see so many people make with mech. They make it with Sky Terran. They make it with bio. You don't want to send, like, 5 Liberators and 5 Thors over to this base. You kill the hatchery and then you're like, yay! Hatchery's dead! And now my whole army is dead because he just collapses on your army and kills it. So there are some players that would try and be more aggressive with this style, but you shouldn't be. You don't need to be. All you need to do, take the center, get Liberators, get Thors, get Ghosts to deal with the Vipers, and then use your expendable units to harass. Use Banshees because they can escape with the hyper... What is this? Hyper... I think it's Hyper Flight Rotor upgrade. I think that's what it's called. The Banshee speed. Don't expose your gas units on the map ever, if you can help it. He is abducting some units each time that he does this, but he's also losing his own gas units as well. So the trades are coming about even. So every time he comes in here, he's losing a unit or two. I may be losing a unit to abduct, but at least we're both losing. At least it's forcing a trade, some kind of gas trade. If he abducts a Thor and you don't kill a unit, that's really bad because he just kills 200 gas worth of Sky Terran and then you're dead. And once again, I'm just taking the map behind this. The nice thing about this style is it doesn't matter what league you're in. I feel like you can have fun with this style and it's going to be effective. And it's a style that you can get good with. Like, you can actually practice. It's not easy. It's not easy. I would say this is an easy to play, easy to learn, hard to master style. Because you have to micromanage Ghost EMP. You have to siege up Liberators. You have to siege up tanks. You have to manage your Banshee harass. You have to make thors. So you have to manage your hellion harass as well. So there's a lot of units that you have that have abilities that need to be micromanaged to do well. And you also have to watch out for parasitic bombs, so there's a lot of stuff you have to do, but it's really fun to play, and your army does get ridiculously strong late game. I feel like the army I have right now is stronger than any bio army you could get at this point in the game, being maxed out on Liberator, Thor, Ghost, with some tanks. Way stronger than Marine Marauder. Whatever you can do with bio, this is much stronger. Especially if your opponent builds ultras. This guy is purposely not building ultras because he knows, like, I have mass thors, so he's trying to counter my unit comp. We watch this fight here. This fight he actually wins because I've lost a ton of units. I've lost Liberators, I've lost Ghost. He remaxed on a unit comp that actually counters my current unit comp. So that's why I lose all these stores here. I lose all these units. But once again, that's fine because I hope from taking the center earlier on, I have the whole map. I'm just going to fast forward through the end of this, guys, because I think you're getting the gist of it. The other nice thing about the Ghosts is you can do this. You can nuke harass. You can use nukes. So Banshee harass, nuke harass, hellion harass. Those are your three ways, essentially, to harass the Zerg player without shoving your army across the map, without putting your army at risk to being fungled or parasitic bombed. Sending one Ghost across the map is very cheap. Sending 4 Banshees is pretty cheap, and you'll probably, like, you can kill a base and then run away with the Banshees. It's so effective to do that, and it is so supply efficient. You don't ever want to expose your entire mech army. You don't want to send all this across the map and then lose it all and then lose the game because you did. What you want to do is you want to chip away at the Zerg. You want to chip away at him little bit by little bit, deny his gas income, deny his distant bases, kill him little bit by little bit by little bit until you have such an overwhelming advantage that you can just crush him. And once again, the Ghost for the EMP is so clutch. It's so effective getting the Ghost late game to deal with this. And my army is Ghosts, Thors, and Liberators right now. That's the main army that I have. And at this point, the game is pretty much like he's running out of money. He has one more remax available. A nuke is going down. I'm launching 2 nukes over here. So you see the beauty of, you know, this is what, 6 supply that I'm using to harass a base. Meanwhile, I can have my main army somewhere else on the map. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Once again, whenever you do, if you do lose a lot of units, you want to remax. Keep making Liberators, Thors, and Ghosts are your core units. At this point in the game, if we take a look at my base, I have what, 6 factories, and I have 3 starports. I think I have more starports somewhere. At this point, I would probably want more starports, but this game I only had the 3, so I actually got away with just having 3. And that's pretty much game. Once again, guys, keep in mind or keep questions for the end of the show. So that is replay number 1. That is a fully fleshed out early game to late game Sky Terran build that you guys can you can try and imitate, copy on ladder, maybe put in your own kinks. Maybe you don't want to make as many air units after the initial 3 starports. There's so many things that you can do with it. You don't have to go mech afterwards. The core thing is that you're making the 3 ports, you're making Banshees, and then after that, it's up to you to decide whether you want to go like 5 barracks bio with the starport units. After that, you'll have a stronger bio army because you'll have bio plus Liberators and Banshees to harass bases on top of that. Alright, so next game, same style, different opener, different map. We're going to go over one more This opener is specifically for Prion Terrace. It is specifically for Prion Terrace, guys. Do not use this. You might... I wouldn't say don't use it on any other map, but it's specifically good on Prion, on this map, on the gold-based map. So, another TVZ game. And just for the beginning of the game, just for reference, guys, always depot wall. You get your depot, you get your gas, constant SCV production. The nice thing about... you may notice when I go over these games, I'm not really going into supply numbers and, you know, build this on that supply, build this on this supply. It's not necessary if you're learning StarCraft or playing the game. You don't need to remember supply numbers at all. The only thing you have to remember is build workers, and then remember literally the build order. Remember the order of the buildings. So workers, and then the literal order of the buildings. As long as you're building workers the entire time, everything else will flow from there. So always have one worker queued up and ready to build. So you get your depot, refinery after that, and once again, you'll notice always an SCV building. I know I should have mentioned that earlier, but just in case anybody's wondering, like Avilo, like what numbers do I build? What number supply do I build my barracks on? And do I build my barracks on 69 supply or something like that? And what about my starports? 59 supply? 68? No. No, none of that. You don't need that. You remember the order of the buildings and keep building workers. Nothing complicated. Not that it's bad to have a very detailed, you know, on each, you know, on this supply do that, but in general, if you're building workers, you're probably playing the game the way you need to. Specifically for this map, now that I mention it, I actually cut workers at this point in the game to get out both of my barracks, to get out my second barracks a little bit earlier. Because this is... the metagame on this map, guys, everybody's complaining about this map. The gold base is, you know, it favors Zerg. Zerg is OP on this map. It's really tough to play, you know, etc., etc. So what most Terrans have done, what a lot of Korean Terrans do, is they just proxy 2-racks on this map every game. And that's pretty much what I've been doing on ladder. I just go proxy 2-racks. If I get this map against Zerg, every single game, proxy 2-racks. Every single game. Doesn't matter what they're doing. They're taking the gold, doesn't matter. Proxy 2-racks. They're doing this, proxy 2-racks. So that's why I'm showing you this game, because I feel like this is a really strong build specifically to deal with Zerg on this map, since a lot of people are going to have trouble with Zerg here. So 2 barracks, second gas geyser. The nice thing about this build also is you don't have to continue building Reapers. Most Zerg players by now know that most Terrans do this. You know, they're sort of aware, like, oh yeah, every Terran on this map just proxy 2-racks is me, like. So it doesn't matter if you do this. They know, but you know. The thing is, you know that they know, and that's why this build that I'm about to show you works. So the Zerg player just standard gas opener. You know, he went 15 hatch, whatever. He's standard opener, building 2 Reapers. You'll notice I have 100 Vespian gas here. I'm getting my orbital. I get my factory right away. So factory and my depot wall, really important. And I'm building Reapers, and I think... Here's the thing. You can go up to 4 Reapers, you can go up to 6, you can even go up to 8. It really depends on the game, each game, like how much damage you do with your Reapers, how good your opponent is. In this case, I'm harassing my first 2 Reapers. I managed to kill a drone, it looks like 1 drone. But I'm getting my factory behind this. By now, my opponent is reacting. He's building more queens. He has lings out to stop the Reapers. You don't want to always commit all in to the Reapers, and you don't have to. That's the beauty of getting the quick factory. So now we go into double starport. Like, what? So this is, once again, it's a sky turn opener with a twist. You're opening proxy 2-racks Reaper into starports. I killed a creep tumor there, which is good. Now, once again, these Reapers, he's already defended them. It would be pretty stupid of me to continue building the Reapers at this point. And I think you can see I'm not building anymore. Like, I just consciously decided to stop building them because he's defended it well enough. He actually over-defended it. He has a spine crawler even. So there's no need to make no more gas on Reapers. We're going into the next phase of the game after the Reaper harass, assuming you don't kill your opponent with it. You get double starports, tech lab on your factory, and then you build your natural command center. And the beauty of this is we're flipping the game on its head. Normally it's the Zerg player that takes the gold, but the Zerg player can't take the... Why is Zerg not taking the gold? He can't take the gold because of proxy 2-Rax Reaper. If he takes the gold and every Terran is going proxy 2-Rax, that's going to put him in a lot of trouble. He's going to be screwed. So most Zerg players just take their natural now. But I'm just going one level above that. I'm like, okay, well, he didn't take the gold, but I stopped building Reapers, and now I'm going to Port Banshee into my own gold base, or into my own command center. Also, the counter to Reapers is pretty much Ravagers and Roaches, so Banshees counter Ravagers. It's the same deal as the last game. You're pretty much going triple starport to counter the Ravager metagame. So he gets his gold base, but he gets it later than normal. That's the important thing. Once again, I'm going for a third CC behind all of this. Double starports. Getting a reactor factory. This looks very similar to last game, except I don't have 3 starports. I only have 2 because I opened up with the later expansion, so I just delayed my other starport, my other production. Now at this point I did manage to scout that he has lair tech, and you do have to be careful of mutas, and that's why I switched to starport back to reactor to make liberators. I believe I'm actually building 3 liberators at a time right now. 0 banshees. Another indicator that your opponent might be making mutas is if they go for mass slings, he's probably making mutas. I scanned, got some information, and he's going for the typical Ravager Roach play. Back at my base, I have a really quick fusion core, and that is so that I can get the Banshee speed upgrade after Cloak. Same setup as last game. 3 starports. I do have a tech lab factory instead of a reactored one, but that's okay. We'll add on more later. But it's the same deal. 2 tech lab starports, 1 reactored starport, and it's just a beautiful build, guys. Like same defensive setup again. Turrets, liberators on top of the turrets, tanks behind those. Each thing protects the other thing. Tanks protect the liberators, liberators protect the tanks and turrets, turrets protect the liberators from being sniped by corruptors. And do not be if you do this, don't be afraid to build like 5 turrets underneath your liberators. Like, you can go ham on the missile turrets. It's really important to not die. My opponent is at 178 supply. I'm at 121. And I'm probably gonna hold I'm gonna hold this off because it's mostly roaches and ravagers. I reposition my liberators a little bit. So once again, here he comes. And I have 8 turrets total that are going to be building or completed soon. He's walking into this 177 Zerg supply to 130 Terran supply. If we look at army supplies, I have 69 workers. He has 118 army supply. I have 61 army supply. Normally you'd be dead here. Normally Terran, you'd be like, oh, Terran's dead. Like, game over. But none of his units shoot up, except the corruptors. So he's trying to shove me and go completely all in here. And if he doesn't kill me with this, then I'm in a really good position. And remember, every liberator is essentially killing a roach or a ravager. The corruptors are dying to the turrets. That's why we can have the liberators in siege mode, because the turrets are killing the corruptors. And the tanks in the back and the banshees are dealing with stuff. So I managed to hold this off, like I'm still alive. Liberator's OP, Kappa, right? And he's still walking into this, you know, not a good idea on his part. And there we go. I can chase down the rest of his roaches with my banshees. But I defended in that situation, which is amazing. That's great. And that's the beauty of the turret, like that turret farm. You'll notice I'm actually rebuilding it right now. I'm rebuilding the turret farm because he's most likely going to do this again. I have so few units after the attack. Back at home, what do I have as production? I have 4 factories, 3 starports, and a tech lab barracks for ghost production, for eventual ghost production. The other nice thing, whoops, I keep pausing the game here. The other nice thing about the Banshees is you can clear creep with speed Banshees and then just fly away. Like boom, I'm out of there. Whereas like a siege tank, you can't send a tank out on creep to go kill tumors. You can't do that. You can't send a Thor out here to kill a creep tumor. You can't. Even hellions are sort of risky to send out. You can't send out some units to kill creep tumors. The only units you really should ever send out to kill creep are Banshees and hellions. But it's nice that speed Banshees can actually escape, and they're just it's just a really nice presence to have on the map. And I would actually, I have these hotkeyed to 3 right now, so I have my own separate hotkey for these speed Banshees to go harass this guy's expansions. So just macroing up here. These Banshees, once again, with the speed upgrade is so clutch. You can just fly away every single time. Harass the base, fly away. He has to give up the chase every single time. And so normally, in Heart of the Swarm, these 5 Banshees would have been dead. 500 Vespene gas would have been down the drain. Legacy of the Void, see you, nerd. See you later, nerd. Easy peasy. Easy peasy, man. So, I actually, I felt comfortable enough to attack this game, and I'm doing a 2-pronged attack. Banshees on the left, tanks, liberators, and stuff on the right. I think the reason I attacked this game was because I scanned and I saw that he didn't have his hive yet, so I knew for a fact this guy has no Vipers. He doesn't have those units yet. I can do something on the map. Banshees in production, Liberators in production, tanks in production, and Sky Terran upgrades in production to make Liberators stronger, to make Banshee Harass stronger. When you play this style, mech is almost like a backseat to the air units. And once again, he comes to hunt these down. You can just fly away. I think I F2'd my army, which is bad. I think I F2'd my army here, which was really, really bad. But in general, you can just fly away. You can fly away from that. We're trading units here, and I mean, this is just, it's so strong.
We're returning fire.
And you'll notice, once again, guys, when you get to the later stages of the game with this, you want to get ghosts preemptively to counter the Vipers. You always want to do that. Once they have hive tech, if they have hive tech, get ghosts. If they don't, you don't need ghosts. But just keep an eye out for that. And at this point, I'm up in supply, just trading really, really well, and yeah, the Banshees managed to do so much work this game. I would highly recommend this to anybody that wants to learn a new style that's not bio, that's not biocentric. And I think the game actually just is gonna end here. I wouldn't be surprised to see more people start doing stuff like this in tournaments that want to play mech, that want to play well, mech or Sky Terran. Either way, I'm not even sure what to call this. It's sort of a hybrid of both, but you open up, the key thing is opening the game with the triple starport Liberators and Banshee production. So yeah, Thor's following up just to sort of end the game here. He's out of units. And this base is actually dying to Banshees, and that's GG. So once again, guys, to summarize these 2 replays that I went over for Sky Terran, the key things that I would keep in mind for executing this style. This game, we didn't actually need ghosts. You don't need any ghosts this game because he had no hive tech. So I just shoved across the map, and I managed to win like that. The second key thing is, like, mid-game, building the turret farm at your rally point to protect your Liberators and protect your tanks. That is very important. Third thing I would say is your upgrades. Upgrade your air units, not your mech units. And finally, to deal with Vipers, start your Ghost Academy and your barracks in advance. So yeah, pretty cool style, pretty fun to play. And I think that'll be it for these replays, guys. Let me go to chat real quick, and let me see if there's any... If you guys have any questions about either the Sky Terran style, or if you have any questions about the, like, why TVP Marine Tank is coming back, or what you should be doing Marine Tank, like what you should be transitioning to, feel free to ask right now in chat. I'm reading the chat at the moment. Let me scroll up here, see if there's any actual questions. I hope people save questions for the end. If you've been asking, I haven't been reading the chat like this entire time. With Sky Terran style, can you use Widow Mines instead of tanks? You can, but Widow Mines are like really, they're quite tough to use. They also, the other thing is, once your opponent gets a higher tech army of, like, you know, brood lords and whatnot, it's really tough to make mines work. You can add in some mines underneath your liberators and whatnot, but it's sort of like, it's very gambly. It's not going to work every single time. It's more situational. Like, maybe there's some games where your opponent only has corruptors, and you can burrow mines and bait him into the mines. It's very, very situational. Why do I not use battlecruisers with the Sky Terran style? The reason you don't use battlecruisers are because of Vipers. BCs are too expensive. If your opponent makes any Vipers at all, you can actually just yank them. Every abduct from a Viper is just 75 energy, and every BC is 300 Vespian gas. So if you build like 5 BCs, your opponent has, you know, 10 Vipers, he can yank every one of your BCs into his Spore Crawler line, into his army, and end up losing the game. You'll end up losing the game because of it. It's better to build, instead of a BC, which is 6 supply, build a Liberator, which is 3 supply, and build a Ghost. That's 5 supply total. Way more effective than building a battlecruiser. Do I use the auto spam for ghost snipes? For ghost snipes, you can actually waypoint them. You can, if you hold down the shift key, and then you tell your ghost to go somewhere, and then you right click on each of the Vipers, that will actually allow you to snipe the Vipers or EMP them. Avilo, about that innovation style, what if the Protoss just turtles to Colossus High Templar Gateway composition? What do you do? Well, the thing is, it's not even really an innovation style. It's just a build or strat that he used. He essentially used, he like hijacked a TVT build for TVP, and that's pretty much like the next, like what the next meta is for TVP is Marine Tank. So if the Protoss does recognize you're doing that, you might actually need to build Marauders in that case. Marauders are good against Colossus and whatnot, and they have more HP than Marines. Or you can actually transition to like more Liberators, get more starports, build Vikings. Either way, you're going to have to build Ghosts, one way or the other. So, yeah, at the moment, like right now, Protosses aren't really countering Marine Tank in TVP. What do I think Blizzard should do to make BCs viable? I don't think BCs will ever be truly viable until Parasitic Bomb is nerfed, perhaps. Parasitic Bomb deals with, like, if you have too many BCs, they just all get Parasitic Bombed. Can you make 1 tech lab instead of 2 in TVP for the barracks to get more Marines? Yes, you can, Super Mega Man. You can actually open 3 racks, 2 reactors, and then delay your combat shields so that you'll have more Marines. You can do that if you want to, but then you won't be able to attack as early and as often with Marine Tank, and you might die if you don't have combat shields. So that's a risk you can take. Like, you'll have a higher Marine count when you do attack because of the earlier reactor. But that's up to you. You can definitely open up with a single tech lab and double reactor. What about charge lots in TVP with Marine Tank? Isn't that the main unit that stopped Marine Tank from being a thing in TVP since Wings of Liberty? Well, the interesting thing is, like, Marines do a ton of DPS, and Marines do, like, I think they do full damage to Zealots, to charge lots, and having tanks behind that and Liberators behind that, I think you can do... most Protosses aren't going to build mass charge lots. They might. If they do, you could probably... Like, I think you could start adding in Blue Flame Hellbats, potentially. Or you just add in, you know... The nice thing about having the high Marine count and going Marine Tank is you have a lot of gas left over. So you can go, like, double, triple Starport Liberator. You can go... you can maybe make 2 factories for, like, more Widow Mines to deal with the charge lots. There's a lot of things that you can do. There's a lot of things you could do if your opponent goes mass charge lots in TVP. Once again, somebody else is asking, Bob the SCV is asking, even with the nerf, Colossus are pretty strong versus Marines. What do you do if they build Colossus? You just build Vikings. Build Liberators and Vikings. Deal with Colossus. That's the other thing. Siege tanks themselves aren't bad against Colossus, and you're going to have a ton of tanks in your army. So, like, the army that you'll have still deals with Colossus just fine. Can I beat Broodlords with Ghosts? It's better to save your Ghost energy to EMP Vipers than it is to snipe Broodlords. Unless you scan. Like, let's say there's 10 Broodlords and you scan and you have, like, 10 Ghosts, and you see that they have no detection, no Overseers, no Fungal, and you see an opportunity to double snipe each of the Broodlords, then do that. But it's very situational. Most of the time, if they have Broodlords, you don't want to try and snipe them because you're going to wait. The way the game is right now, snipes, if your Ghost is hit while he's, you know, taking aim, the snipe is completely cancelled, and then you lose the Ghost, and you lose the money. So, only use snipe if you have no detection. Is Sky Terran versus Zerg more turtle style, or is it more normal expansion? It's honestly, you can play it either way. You can turtle with it, or you can be more aggressive with it with Liberators and Banshees. It really depends on what you want to do and how you want to play it. Alright, let's see if there's any other questions here. Why wasn't Marine Tank viable in Heart of the Swarm? Because of Colossus, because of Oracle Opener, because of High Templar, because of the economy, because Protoss is turtled into a more splash damage centric army. Right now, Protosses aren't building that much splash damage, so Marine Tank is actually really strong, and theoretically it's better than building Marauders at the moment. Assuming that Protosses don't adjust. But I'm pretty sure Protosses will most likely adjust and start building Colossus instead of Disruptors. Yeah, let's see here. In TVT, should you use Medivacs or Vikings? I didn't really cover TVT during this one, just did TVZ and TVP. I think that's good for questions, guys. Thank you everybody for tuning in. That tuned into this first episode. I hope it goes well. I believe tomorrow Neuro is going to be on, so Neuro will be doing his lesson or whatever style of thing he's going to be doing tomorrow. So make sure you tune in then. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.